Hello, this video is going to cover freezing point of solutions. When something is dissolved in water, the freezing point of that water will drop. So we can say the freezing point decreases as a solute is dissolved into the solvent. The greater the concentration, or the more solute there is, the lower the freezing point will be. So the more solute particles there are, the lower the freezing point. How this happens is that the solute particles, salt or sugar, get between the solvent molecules. This makes it much more difficult for the liquid particles to get close together when freezing occurs. So remember that when a liquid turns into a solid, the particles must get closer together. If there's something in the way, they can't do that. So, since it's more difficult, more energy must be removed to force them together, and so the temperature goes down. So this is actually why we put salt on the roads in the winter. Put salt down on the streets. When the water on the street gets really cold, it would freeze and be dangerous. But if there's salt on the road, it makes it more difficult for the water to freeze, and therefore doesn't turn into ice as easily. But why use salt on roads rather than sugar? Because dissolving sugar would also lower the freezing point. So remember, salt is known as sodium chloride. And this is an ionic compound that breaks apart into sodium ions and chloride ions. So we get two particles. Sugar is a molecular compound. You may not know the chemical formula, C12H22O11. This is molecular. It does not break apart. As all molecular compounds do, it stays intact, so you only get one particle. So if you put down an equal amount of salt and sugar, salt will have double the effect at lowering the freezing point. So you really don't need to use as much salt as you do sugar. I'm going to diagram what it looks like when these salt particles get in the way, or sugar particles get in the way of the freezing process. So remember that if we have a liquid, the particles are a little far apart. We'll zoom in on that. And they're trying to get closer together to become a solid. But when you have something dissolved in a liquid, remember that the particles surround the solute. So let's say this blue dot is our solute. And even if it was surrounded by other solvent molecules. Well, during freezing, if these particles are trying to get closer together, there's something in the way. And that's all there is to it.